Okay, so I had made a intro video for all the spiders I got from the spider shop and the rehouses and all that, and it didn't work and go through. So I'm gonna do this again. I almost have that video done. I should have it done tonight, and then hopefully get it uploaded tonight. So yeah, there's gonna be a spider rehouse with brand new spiders coming that I got from the spider shop. Um, and the rehouses videos. Rehouse video, and you're going to get to see all these new guys. Okay, so I already made a video of our new house and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's been a long time since a video. We moved. It's a lot, but I got new spiders in. This time I ordered from the spider shop. So yeah, we're gonna unbox them and rehouse them. I think I got 13 spiders. So I know I'm going to rehome my Grammostola pulchripes, and I may rehome. I have a I think it's a king baboon. I'll look it up anyway. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So before I unbox the spiders and rehouse them, I'm gonna start with my Grammostola pulchripes. So I've had her. I'd have to look back at my paperwork, but I've had her now for 7, maybe 8 years. She's a full. I'm gonna go ahead and show her, because although I know people in the spider community are probably gonna lose their absolute shit over her enclosure, but whatever. So I think I've had her for like 8 years. She is a mature female. I had her in a 10-gallon long, which is what the recommended for this species is. They're terrestrials. She's a terrestrial. As terrestrials typically dig somewhat, have a burrow somewhat. And so you typically want to give them as much substrate as possible to dig in. So when she's in the 10-gallon long, she has all this airspace. She doesn't need all the airspace. It's not a big deal with this tank because she's never been a climber. But she didn't have that. And the other one she had like maybe just slightly above where her hide would be was her airspace. So maybe like 4 inches of airspace. And then she probably had 8 to 10 inches of dig space that she could dig into. She never dug. When she was a sling, I got her the size of my pinky nail. So like 1/8 of a sling. She never dug when she was a sling. She always sat on top like she is now. Put her in that 10-gallon long with the proper substrate. She had always had the proper substrate. She has damn near the proper substrate now. I'll explain in a minute. She literally used basically the amount of space she's using now in that 10-gallon long and just sat like a lump on a log. So I moved her into this tank, and at the bottom, it's only like 3 inches deep at the bottom, but towards that back corner, this back corner back there, it gets to be about a good 6 inches. When I stuck her in here, that hide had a pre-dug burrow that went deeper. Never once did she use it, and she filled it up with dirt. She does have a water dish. You can see it. She continually keeps it full of water. So I just put water in that spot, and I let it until it gets all wet. So I'm going to rehouse her into something smaller because she doesn't use the space. I'm going to put her in something smaller where she can have the dig space if she wants it. But this is what she does. She is either setting right where she's setting, or she's setting right here at the water bowl. That's it. That's as far as she moves. The only time she moves anywhere else in this enclosure is if I put food in there. She's literally eaten twice from me in the last 5 years. And she's molted once. And she just molted right after we moved here. So I'm going to get her stuff set up. I'm going to get her out and get her. So I'll probably video getting her out and then getting her into something, because I'm going to reuse all of this substrate in her new enclosure. That's where we're going to be at. Okay, so we're going to see how catching her goes. I'm just going to use this little bowl that I have, and we'll see. My thing that I used to use for holding my camera is missing a part. Somewhere in the move, it got lost. So we're doing it this way. So hopefully I won't get in the way of the camera. But I think we're just going to get her little legs in there. Get her little leg in there. All right, so she's in there. She's not a difficult girl. She's super easy to deal with. think she'll probably just climb up into the bowl a little bit. It's been a long time since I've handled her. She's literally been in this enclosure for the last 5 years or so. All right, there she is, all in her little spot. So now I'm going to get her other enclosure set up. Okay, so this is the enclosure. It is a smaller enclosure. So what I'm going to do is, she didn't really use much more than this floor space anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot of substrate in this and then give her not as much airspace. And then hopefully then maybe she'll decide she wants to dig. If she decides she wants to dig and she wants to utilize space, we will, of course, make something. I will readjust her enclosure. But if she continues to just use this the way she's used it before, this is what we're going to do. I'm using rubber gloves because I am going to just reuse the substrate. See, look, she had a water bowl, full water bowl. And she does, she has webbed it. And so I don't want to get her spidey hair all in my skin. So I'm using rubber gloves. And I'm going to reuse most of the substrate. Probably all of the substrate. She has never dug. She's never been a digger. There was leaf litter in here. Originally, there was clutter in here. She tore it all out. She buried everything. All the leaf litter that was in here is, I'm finding down inside what used to be the hole, the pre-dug hole I dug for her in her hide. That's where all the leaf litter is. She had leaf litter. She buried it. I'm going to soak her substrate a little bit. That's what I usually do when I'm setting up a new enclosure is I wet down the substrate so I can pack it the way I want it packed. So I'm going to continue doing this and then I will be back. Okay, so in this jar of dirt is a pea muticus. It's like the king baboon. I'm gonna guess this one's a female. I've had a male before and it grew so much faster. So I'm gonna guess this one's a female. Because it's not really gotten very much bigger. I'm just trying, I don't know if I should rehouse it and put it in something slightly bigger or if I should leave it in this, but I actually might need this smaller enclosure. So I think we're going to rehouse it. Yeah. Not really looking forward to rehousing the P. muticus. Okay, I have to figure out something to do this in. We'll be back. Okay, so let's see how this goes. I've kind of seen her in there. Oh, she coming out. She must be hungry. Oh, look it. She is still tiny. So my guess is she definitely a female because I've had her for a while, at least 2 years, and this is as big as she is. And so I'm gonna guess she's definitely a female. But now looking at her, I don't really think I need to. I don't really think I should rehouse her. I think I should just leave her. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid just slightly back on. And I'm going to go get her a roach to eat real fast because I think she's hungry. And so we'll see if we can have a feeding video. I haven't got to see her eat. We'll see. All right, well, so of course, as soon as I moved anything, she decided to go back down inside her burrow. Don't know if we'll be able to get her to come up. Probably not. But she snagged that roach the second it hit. I think I'm going to go ahead and give her this other little tiny one too because she's a little bit bigger. So we didn't really get to see a feeding video, but you guys got to see what she looked like and I got to see what she looked like and I haven't seen her in a hot minute. So there she be. And so now we're going to start rehousing the 13 I just got. So we'll open up that box and see what they look like. Okay, so this is the order from the SpiderShoppe. Found out they're here in Washington, which is kind of really cool. I'm going to find out if you can actually go to them and like order directly from them or like pick up directly from them. So that was like their pack to keep them from getting too cold, hot, whatever. This is what I ended up getting. What else did we get? Like, I don't know. I have to get pie. So let me see. Like, so we got, oh, they're in Tacoma. It's just on the other side. Anyway, stickers. Ooh, smell goody things for our cars, I guess. Look at all of that. There's a whole bunch in here. So I got a pumpkin patch. It's Hapalopus Columbia large, so it's a pumpkin patch. Then I got a P. murinus Usambra, so it's the orange starburst baboon. It's an OBT, but it's a type. Then I got P. armenia, which is the Venezuelan Suntiger. So pretty. This is the Hapalopus. I cannot pronounce it. Anyway, it's the speckled pumpkin patch. So it's supposed to be the bigger species of the pumpkin patch, but it kind of still looks like a pumpkin patch, and which is the only kind of dwarf species I actually really like with pumpkin patch. B. hamorii, which is the Mexican red knee. This is the P. murinus kingoma. It's another type of OBT, but so they were like out of something, and so they replaced it with this. They called me beforehand and said, hey, we had a miscalculation with our inventory, and so can we replace one of the things with one? So like, I got a slightly better spider. Another P. muticus, another king baboon, which I really like the king baboons. First of all, they're really pretty brown color, and then they hunt in the water, so you can set them up in a dual thing. This one is the Vitellus chromatus, which is the Brazilian red and white, and it's a good sized. This is the Lasiodora klugi, which is the Bahia Scarlet bird eater. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. This one it's the Malaysian blue femur. They're really pretty. They get like these pretty blue on their legs. Aphonopelma chalcodes. So I'm not really sure if the one that I have, my other little small sling, might be an Arizona blonde, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is an Arizona blonde. Then I got a new Agen, and I got a good size. She's like 2 inches. So then I got 2 GDBs. I love the GDBs. They're my favorite. So Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens, the green bottle blue. So there's one. And then this is the second one. And then I got the Tillicudi, I can't pronounce it anyway. It's the curly hair. And you can see it in this one. Look at that. So excited for the curly hair. Anyway, that's all the spiders. We're going to start figuring out housing and get to rehousing. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with my curly hair since it's the biggest. It needs substrate to dig in. It's a terrestrial. And so it prefers to have deeper substrates. She's already like 2 to 2.5 inches, so she needs fairly decent size. And we're going to start with her because she's got a big enough deal that I might be able to use it. So start putting this. I'm still using some substrate out of the one spider's deal. Didn't use it all. We're going to get this one all set up and ready to go. Then my I just kind of wet it down really good and then mixed it up. So after I get this all made together and set up and figured out, I will be back. Okay, I got it all set up. I got a pre-starter burrow there. We got the water there. So now we're going to see. I should do this. Move things around. That way, if spider escapes, it escapes at least into something more contained. Do have lots of things to be able to catch spiders with. Should it figure out how to bolt? Usually these guys are fairly chilled and relaxed and not an issue. Look, she's in there. Not really sure. I think I'm going to pull out the foam and see how that works. It's okay. She didn't go out with the foam, but that's all right because now I've got her where I can get to her. And so now we're going to go like that. We're going to get this brush. Look at how pretty she looks. Can you see how pretty she looks? Look at all the fuzziness. That's why I like them. They're so fuzzy. So she's like, I don't want to get out of it. I want to stay in it. And out she went. All right. No, back. Hold on. I got to scoot everything back because now she's out and on my counter. Y'all are missing all the fun. She's out. And she's back in. All right. I caught her again. So that wasn't a big deal. Let me see how I can do this where it'd be better if I have my other camera or have my other deal. But anyway. All right, let's see. Hopefully she'll just back out, and then I just want her to back out and back down into the dirt and go down into her hide. Not out. Not out. No. Oh. Hold on. This is the most fun I've had rehousing a tea in a long time. I'm trying to get her to go down into that hide or into that hole, and she just doesn't want to do it. There we go. She's not quite in there, but I'm just going to she's kind of in there, so now I'm just going to try to get her to go back so I can get the lid on. The lid is so dirty. And she's behaving herself. So she's right there enjoying her. Everything's dirty. I had everything in the garage from getting moved here. Okay, alrighty. Trying to make sure I don't get her little tootsies when I put this down. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, she's in there, all in there. She'll figure out her hide. She probably needs a slightly bigger enclosure. I probably should have put her in the same thing I put my other one in, but this will be good for her for right now. And then after the next molt, we'll probably move her again. There she is. She'll be okay in there. All right, so next is going to be my agent. I need to see if she's going to be able to fit, if she can get out of this one or not. I might have to go and figure out some enclosures. See her in there? I can't tell how big her head is though. I think I'm going to try to get her out of this and get her into this bowl so that way I can see. I don't think she can get out of it. And I kind of really want to leave her just the way she is right now in this, because you can see her in there. I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and then if I decide that she's too small, once I get it set up, then we'll just figure out something different. But for right now, I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to set her there. Okay, so agents, it's Acanthoscurria geniculata. It's a Brazilian giant whitening. So they are also a terrestrial. This is like a 2-inch, so she's decent size. They also like to dig, so I've set this up where she can go in there and burrow down inside there. She's got the space to go. She'll probably be in this for a couple molts, and then we'll have to switch her out to something different, but we'll see. So I think since I've got her out and she managed to stay in her little tube, that's her. So I have her butt right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put her head down inside that little hole. And then at her butt, down into there. And not have escaping spiders like we did with the last one. Agents tend to be stubborn. At least my other one was stubborn. They can be aggressive. They can be hard hitters when they eat. She is right there inside her little hole. I do need to watch her a little bit and make sure she can't get out of this. I don't think she can. It doesn't look like her butt can get out. I can't really get a good look at her head, and I really don't want to mess with her too much because she kind of put herself there. But I do think her abdomen definitely looks like it's big enough to not be able to get out. Look at her little white leg, little white knees. Okay, so anyway, there she is. Vitalis chromatus, which is the Brazilian red and white. This one's about 1 inch to 1.25 inches. I'm gonna have to figure out some enclosures. You can kind of see it in there. I don't really have anything that's gonna work, so I'm gonna have to figure out some things real quick for this guy. Anyway, that's gonna be the next one. It looks like it's really pretty in there. Okay, I found my thingy so I can use my stand for my camera. So much nicer. Okay, so luckily I had enough Tupperwares. We have so much Tupperware, so I was able to gank some. So I got this all set up. The chromatus is also a terrestrial. So again, it also needs to have deep enough substrate to dig into. So there's a hide with pre-dug starter burrow right in there. The water dish, this is a smaller spider. So what I do is I fill it and then I let it overflow. So the butt's facing me and her head is facing down. So I'm going to try to get her back out and try to do the same thing I did before and try to get her to go that way into the hole. You can kind of see her in there a little bit. I'm just going to kind of go like this. My hands are all in the way, but let's see. Kind of really just want to hold it. There she is. Look at that. Isn't she pretty? See? Isn't she going to be so pretty? She's not that small, so she can have a slightly bigger water deal and be fine. So anyway, there is my chromatus. the Brazilian red and white. All right, so next are going to be my favorites. Chromatopelma, cyaneopubescens, or the green bottle blue. I have two of them. They are both about 1 inch. You can kind of see it in there. Moving around. These guys are so pretty. So they start out with stripes and little colors, and then their legs will turn blue, and then they'll have an orange butt with a green carapace. They are so pretty. One of my first tarantulas was a green bottle blue, and I absolutely loved him. And he ended up being a male, and the female ate him, so he didn't ever get to make any babies. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing with the green bottle blues next. I'm going to get two enclosures set up. All right, so I've kind of got this started set up. So green bottle blues, they're technically a terrestrial species, but they actually prefer to be semi-arboreal, which means they like to climb. They do web a whole lot. So, and they really like to create little web structures. So I didn't make these as deep, and I'm giving them lots of stuff to kind of climb and web with, because what I found out from the male that I had, he webbed a lot. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of finishing up, putting in some things to make them to give them some more places to kind of climb and web on, and then we're gonna get them added in here. Right, now I have to figure out water dishes. I don't have enough water. I don't have any more of these. Which one am I opening up? Okay, well, I took one of the lids off of that, so that's going to have to be the next one that gets rehoused, just because I took the lid off of it. So this is all should be ready. Now we're going to get them out. Should give them plenty of space to like climb on, web. We're going to do them one at a time. We'll try to get them both in here. And that one's already out and wants to be on the thing. But look at there. That one's in there. Let me see. Hold on. Where'd my brush go? Back in, back in, back out, back in. Anyway, there it is. So that's that one. We're going to try to get this one to just stay. We might have to put the lid on it. Look at how pretty she is, though. Isn't she pretty? I love green bottle blues. They're my favorite. They get to be a decent size. Hopefully I have females this time and not males, because the males only live like 2 years, and it's so sad. Go down. Stay in there. Get the lid on before it comes back up. Okay, so that one's done. Let's get the other one done, and then we'll finish that up. This one you can see its butt. See how pretty its butt is? I'm going to see if I can't get it to just go back in, just to crawl out. This one's calmer. Look at how pretty. See the colors, those little stripes on their butt? And then you can start to see the blue coming through on the legs. So the legs will turn completely blue. The orange stripes will turn orange. And then that carapace is going to turn green. So pretty. So that's the green bottle blues. Okay, so since we took the lid off of this one, and this one's going to now have to get rehoused. She's so tiny, you can barely see her in there, so tiny. Says she's only like a half an inch. So that's like if you take their legs and you spread their legs out, it would be like a half an inch long. I can't pronounce that, whatever. It's the Malaysian blue femur. I need to check how this one's supposed to be set up real fast. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get it set up, and we're going to get this one rehoused. Since I opened it, I mean, I could just probably put this little thing right here on it and close it. I've put one of my water deals inside it and closed it, so now it can't get out. So yes, we're gonna try to figure out how this one gets set up now. Okay, so we're gonna try this. So these guys are fossorial, which means they need lots of deep substrate. I did the smaller little water cup, but I turned it on its side, so it's only got like a drop or so of water, but the substrate's fairly moist. So I'm going to take the little cap off of it, and then I think it's down here at the end. So I think I'm going to try to get the cap off of it, take the thing out, put it down in there, and see if that doesn't hold it. This is an old world. So old world, that means that they're faster, they're more defensive, and they have medically significant venom. So, and it's fast. So I'm hoping I can get it to go right into its little hide down there, because I kind of just aimed it right straight towards its hide. So I'm hoping it did. It went right into its hide. I don't know if you can see it in there now, but it's in there. It's in its hide, already digging itself down into it. That be the Malaysian blue. Okay, so next up is going to be my other P. muticus. This one's about 3/4 of an inch big. It's up here at the top. So we're just going to leave this on for just a few minutes because it might try to get out. So it's going to have the same kind of setup as my other one that the other P. muticus has. It's just going to be in a smaller, one of these smaller, like little dram vials. These guys, if they're males, they grow a little fast. So I think I'm going to use this one that the one spider came in and see how that goes. So I'm going to set this up and then we're going to be moving along. Okay, so I got this set up. So again, these guys like to be really deep. So he's got plenty of room to burrow. It's got the little water thing in there. Mine always cover up the water and I just wet the top. Did do a little starter burrow. These guys don't care about a hide because they're literally going to dig. So hopefully it doesn't try to escape as soon as I take the lid off. It didn't, it backed up. So we're going to try to get it out and then I'm going to try to get it to do what I've been doing. I like these little tubes that they're using. It's so much better than paper towels. I can't even tell you. It went right into its little hole. Can you see its butt? There's its butt. You see its butt? Right into its little hole, which is exactly what I was hoping it was going to do. So that is the king baboon. Okay, so next we're going to do the P. murinus kingoma. This is an OGT, so this was the extra one. Anyway, so these guys, OBTs are terrestrial, but they also are like the green bottle blues, where they do a little bit better in a slightly arboreal setup. At least that way you don't have a super defensive spider. It can make a spot to have its little place hidden, and then it doesn't need to act so defensive if it has a space it can hide. I don't know that I don't have anything really to get the proper setup. Well, all of these little things I have, they're all a little bit too small because it'll grow too fast. So I think I'm gonna put them in this, which this is a little bit big, but I can give it slightly deeper substrate and then and give it a hide that hopefully then I'll be able to use. And then if it becomes too aggressive, I'll just have to rehouse it into something better. I need stuff like this that are slightly bigger, but this one's already been made. So like I can, if I have a spider in here, I can stick my little thingy in there and be able to get out of this. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this set up for him and see where we're at. Okay, so we're going to see how this works. I'm going to put a little bit more moisture in here. And so I found a cork tube that's too small for just about anything. So what I did is I went ahead and made it kind of long. So it's kind of like the whole length. So the spider can go all the way down in there, but then it can also burrow. It'll probably end up webbing up in here. I think I'm going to add a couple of these sticks just because these guys do like to web a whole lot. The more it webs up, the more it feels secure in its little spot. So I think maybe I'll just give it some of these things to kind of web on for this particular species. But so the thing that I've seen with these guys is they tend to web around the top and around the lid. And then the problem is these guys are aggressive because this is an old world species. And OBTs are also called orange bitey things because they be bitey. And you don't want to be bit by them because it's significant venom. There's webbing in there. You can't see it, but there's webbing in there. Let's see. I'm trying to see which way. I think that might be its head. Can't really tell. No, I think that's its head. So I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do like that to try to get it to go into its little, right into its little burrow. It went in. I can see it kind of down in there. Y'all ain't gonna be able to see it. But anyway, it be housed. We got that done. So that's the Femur kingoma, and I think our next up is going to be the P. hermana, which is technically like it's an arboreal species. So I'm going to be setting it up in one of these other little dram vials. So I'm going to get all that set up. Let me see, I can take the lid off of it because she's at the end. You can kind of see her in there a little bit. These guys are pretty. They're fast. They are a New World. Okay, so I got it set up for her. So I kind of set this one up way different. It's got just a little bit of substrate. Got a hide. It's got some cork bark in there for hide, and then it's got sticks, and then it's got sphagnum in there because it keeps a lot more moisture in there. And then she can web up a whole lot. I mounted her water dish up higher, so that because she's a climber, so she doesn't go down to the bottom to drink. She comes up top to drink. We're gonna see where she is. She's down there. So we're going to take this out and we're going to see if we can't get her to just kind of wiggle for her little butt that way. Okay, so I'm going to do this like that. These guys are fast and sometimes they don't behave, so we'll see. So these guys get little chevrons, get little chevrons on their feet. Okay, she did her little sleepy, so now I don't know. These guys are so fast, so probably I'll have to put water in it, but we're going to try to get her to just go into this little, I don't know if you can see. She's way over here, but she's way over here, but I'm trying to keep her from coming and getting out. So we're just gonna try to get her to go. She went in and back out. So we're gonna have to try to just get her in and get her. You can see her right there. But we're just gonna have to try. She's so pretty. We're just gonna have to try to get her in because she is spicy and fast. All right. She did go all the way in. She is down here at the bottom now underneath. You can see, kind of see her. Let me get the lid on. So then that way she doesn't escape anymore. She in there. Anyway, there's the P. hermana. Next up is going to be the Aphonopelma chalcodes, the Arizona blonde. And this one looks tiny, but it says it's a half an inch. Can't hardly see it in there. So that will be the next up. Okay, so now we're going to do the Arizona blonde. This is a big setup for her. She'll be able to stay in this for a long time. And then really the only difficulty is when I feed her, I have to make sure that she can find the food because she's tiny compared to this thing. It's how I originally actually had my male P. muticus, King Baboon was set up in something similar-ish, and he was teensy tiny, and I just had to be more careful about feeding him. This says she's like a half an inch, but god dang, she looks so tiny in there. Probably just gonna get her out so that way we can see what go ahead and see her. She's out. She's so tiny, but look how tiny she is. I don't even know if I can get her to focus. But look at that. Isn't she so cute and so tiny? These guys you absolutely can hold. These guys aren't a big deal. I'm gonna let her go ahead and get into her enclosure. You can't even see her. She's like a dot. She went inside her hide. Anyway, that be the Arizona blonde. This enclosure will be big enough for her for a long time. Probably like my other one that I have. It's been in that same enclosure for like since I got it. So probably this one will be where it's at, stays where she's at for the next several years. So. Okay, so the next is going to be the Lasiodora klugi or the Baja Scarlet bird eater. This one's also about a half an inch. It looks oh so tiny. I need to check and double check and see how my enclosure needs to be for this one. So I'm going to do that real fast and then I'm going to get its enclosure set up and then we will do the rehouse on it. Okay, so anyway, I wasn't recording any of that, but that's okay. So I set this up, right now the spider's on the side. We're just gonna leave it where it's at. So I set this up slightly different for this OBT. I didn't have what I had before the other one, so I just made it deeper. Gave it a hole to hide it, a hole with a hide, so hopefully it'll use that. Instead of wanting to come out when I'm feeding it. These guys are aggressive. So glad you guys didn't see my freak out. So now I'm going to try to get him to move up and in. So that way, instead of hopefully down and all over the place, he scoops us slightly back. Ooh, I think he went inside and went right into his little hide. He did. All right. Put the lid on. So I don't have an escape. So escape's been really interesting. Me out a little bit, but anyway, he's in there. Next up is going to be the Hapalopus. I think it's Girol. I can't pronounce that. Anyway, it's the speckled pumpkin patch. This is a dwarf species, but it's the largest of the dwarf species, but it's still super tiny. Like when I say super tiny, they're saying this one is like 0.375 of an inch. So that's going to be next. I think I'm going to do both of my pumpkin patches in these smaller ones because they are dwarf species and they can stay in something smaller. And then I'm going to put my last one in the slightly bigger one because it's another terrestrial. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, here we go with the speckle patch. These guys do prefer it to be terrestrial. They do web a lot, and these are dwarf species. Can you see? It's so tiny. These guys are real tiny, so this is why I went ahead and put it in such a small enclosure, because it won't really, as you can see, like this enclosure is already kind of big enough. So I'm going to try to just go like this, because if it gets out, it's not really a big deal. I can deal with this one. See how super slow it moves? It's just like, I feel like the water is just too much. I did put a little bit of, it's moving towards my hands. I did put a little bit of sphagnum in this one. Come on, see how slow. This one's super slow, super sweet, super easy to deal with. They don't really like your hands, so if you can get them on your hands, they're usually going to get off of them. Isn't it so tiny? Okay. Next up is going to be the regular pumpkin patch. It's the Colombian lard. This one's slightly smaller. So we'll see what this one looks like. Okay, I got this next one set up. So it's so tiny. It's like way down at the bottom. I don't think it's even on in the thing. So I think as soon as I maybe she's gonna go all the way down and all the way out. She did. It's in there. I don't know if you can see it. It's crawling around and it's found its little hide and it's in there. So tiny, but it's definitely in there. That's it. We have one more, which is the Brachypelma hamorii, which is the Mexican red knee. This one's also tiny, but so it's going to get into this thing as a terrestrial because it's a terrestrial. So that's our next one, and then we are all done. All right, last one is the Brachypelma hamorii. Super tiny, set up terrestrial. So like I just did super simple work to just dig down. And it does have a piece of cork in there, and you can just dig down and go into it and make a little hide. That's what they prefer. Trying to see which way he's gonna go. I think he's going this way. So we'll come back, go down, all the way down, go back in, down and out. So you can kind of get a look at him. Can you see him right there on the thingy? Right there, where my breast pitched that. I don't know. He's so tiny. So we're just gonna try to like use my hands. It's just easier. He seems like he's a little fast, but but he went in there. All right. Can you see him? Oh no, I can't tell. Can you see him? That's that one. So that's it. All the spiders are done. Yeah. Whole bunch of new spiders, new house. So we'll see how this all works out. I haven't done videos in a really long time. So anyway, next time.